Anna Karenina is a novel written by Leo Tolstoy somewhere between 1875 and 1877 and is often considered the world's greatest novel. It's very highly rated and widely loved, so I thought I'd challenge myself to read it in the month of February, so I too can say I've read one of the pinnacles of world literature.
It's currently the 14th of February.
Mole rats.
We're like halfway through February. If this year wasn't a leap year, we'd be exactly halfway through February. Aside from the fact that today is my last day of being 18, we're also in grave peril. That's also like my favorite thing to say now, grave peril. You know in Harry Potter how they have that Weasley clock? At the start of the year, I made this goal for myself that I wanted to read at least one classic a month for the rest of the year. I feel as though that's pretty doable. The last 13 days that have gone by, I was supposed to have been reading this book, and have I been? No, I haven't. What book is that? Oh, it's Anna Karenina, which you could obviously tell by the title. That's why I have sort of in the gardens of a Regency ball. Have I started it? Well, okay, let's not ask that question because I technically started it last year and I got like a fair way through it. And then a few days ago, I read like the first page. And then I was like, yeah, I'm in the middle of it. And then I stopped. So when I pick this back up again, I am going to take it from the top. All right, just restart the entire thing. Is it ambitious to get this finished? Potentially, but I think I can. And I want to like properly read this. I want to annotate it. I want to make notes. I'm going to take you guys along the entire journey of this. How many pages is it? I think I did the calculations before. And look, when I did the calculations at the start, I realized that I could have gotten through this entire book if I just read like 20 pages a day. But considering I had not been doing that, we're gonna have to read a lot more. 817. Let's just say that we have 14 days to read this book. That doesn't sound like a lot. That does not sound like a lot. If we did the calculations there, let me just do the calculations, definitely in my mind. Look, that's what I was looking at before. Can you see that? Oh, also, yes, did you see what you're just leaning on? The new Magnolia Parks book. I got that today. So before I was giving myself 24 days, and then I was giving myself 20 days. But now we have 14 days, which technically we have 15, but I want to get this finished on like the 28th. You know what I'm saying? We have like, let's just go with 60 pages. If we read 60 pages a day for the next 14 days, yeah, we can get this done. Anna Karenina, it's about high class society. There's affair, marriage, love, family drama, just drama. We can do that. Just like this much. We're gonna get this book finished this month and we're gonna have an amazing time. This is gonna be spoilers. So if you wanted to read this book with me and then after read it yourself, I think that's wonderful. I can't believe this is my last day of being 18. Side note, does anyone get like nervous when their birthday comes around? Okay, let's get this show on the road. Let's run down that into the nice ballroom. The mornings are always very humbling. Anyways, last night I put in all these tabs. So today I just have to get to this purple tab, then tomorrow I get to that one. And then if I do that, I will get this book done in February. And this book is very interesting. I already started it last night and then I just couldn't read. Like, it was my birthday, okay? I wasn't really in the capacity to be thinking. I am gonna see the Bob Marley movie tonight. Update, I watched the movie. I really liked it. This man cheats on his wife with his children's governess and then tries to give her a pair. He's also justifying it by being like, yeah, well, my wife is old and ugly now, so it's okay. Good thing she's eating him up right now. I really like the snowy landscape, like the scenery, and also just the people's outfits. I really am liking that. There's like an entire ice skating portion in this book, and it's just making me want to ice skate literally so badly. This book is also so unhinged. Like, the characters are very dramatic, but I love that about them. What's the matter with you? Quiet. He's talking to his heart. So we have met Count Vronsky, and all I can picture him is as Aaron Taylor Johnson, because that's who plays him in the movie. This is how Vronsky is described. He's terribly rich, handsome, big connections, very sweet, nice. He's cultivated and very intelligent. He's a man that will go very far. So that's one part. And then on another page, it also says that he's very charming as well. Do you smell that? I think I smell a book boyfriend. It's so bad, I'm sorry. Also, I love this quote about cheating. I don't understand how I could pass by a bakery as full as I am now and steal a sweet roll. Also, a man said that. Can we just claps for that man until he starts calling women vermin? That is such a wild insult. But it's going to be an insult that I just keep at the back of my mind in case I need to use it. Now, if you didn't realize, I have actually finished my section for today. I was just sort of relaying my notes back to you. So I'm currently on page 170.
and I am like this way through the book and I have all this left to go, and I am thoroughly enjoying this book so far, like thoroughly enjoying it. I think the main gist is that there's this guy called Steve and he's cheated on his wife, which also, can I just say, the woman he cheated on, her name is Dolly, right? And I feel like the way that her heartbreak and the betrayal that she was feeling, I feel like the way it was portrayed was done so well. The way she was feeling and the things that she was saying, just, it made sense. And I was like, yes, this isn't like an accurate portrayal. I genuinely feel so bad for her, and I actually understand everything that she's saying, because normally I'm just like, you know, if a guy cheats on you, like, leave. But what she's saying is, it makes sense. It's making me see like why she just can't do that. Siva, his sister is Anna, and Anna gets into an affair with Vronsky, so there's something about that family that just has cheaters in it. So that is my update for today. Well, I mean, it's technically the next day, because if you see that, it's 2:15 in the morning. That being said, I am going to go now. See you tomorrow. Yesterday, I could not read Anna Karenina because of personal reasons. I basically was not in my house the entire day. I did not have any time to read it. However, today I'm going to catch up and I'm going to read twice as much as I'm supposed to. So read up to 2 tabs. And yeah, I'm up to page 81, and my main thing right now is I wish that I was at a time where there was a ball, because they're currently at a ball right now, and I just wish that I got to experience a ball in my lifetime. I don't think I even said this anywhere, but as part of my birthday present, I got 2 books. These were specific books that I asked for. First one was Ruthless Vows, and then the next one I have is None of This Is True by Lisa Jewell. This is the part of the book that I'm up to. Even though she said she's not like Steva, she is. I'm up to part 2. Time to put my little tabby thing in. I have completed yesterday's reading. I'm up to the purple tab, and now it is time for me to complete today's reading. It is currently 5 p.m. This is how much I have to get through. I'm up to chapter 9, and I have some thoughts. I feel like Alexei is taking Anna for granted in a sense. I feel like he doesn't really articulate his love for Anna, and I feel like Anna needs that, you know, and that he's not just her husband. But I feel like he doesn't really say that very well. I just feel like her and Alexei are just not good together. However, the situations are very complex. This is just a very complex book, and it's very entertaining, and I would highly recommend this to a lot of people. See, he just can't really communicate with her. That's what I was saying before. How Tolstoy writes about seasons is so beautiful. How he wrote winter and sort of the icy landscape, I was in love with. And now, how he's just written spring, I'm also in love with that. Like, this man is just making me want to experience every single season just by the words that he writes. I think this is the best book I've read so far, like, in my life. This is an example. This horse. It's currently 9 p.m. and I'm going to do my Anna Karenina reading now. I honestly find putting the little purple tabs really helpful, so I would recommend that if you were wanting to read the book, you also do little daily allocations. For me personally, if I try to read a lot of a book in one day, I can find myself getting severely burnt out, even if I'm really enjoying the book. I like spacing along my reading, which is why I'm literally in the middle of like 10 books at once. I'm literally in the middle of The No Show, Pet Cemetery, Magnolia Park, Long Way Home, Days of Haste, A Great Undoing, Throne of Glass, and of course Anna Karenina. I don't know how to say savage in a fancy way, but this book just is. So there's this lady, right, called Anna, and she is cheating on her husband with this guy called Vronsky, right? And her husband, he's not really attentive to her. He doesn't really pay much attention. In his mind, he just thinks that because he's got the title of husband, that's enough. He doesn't actually have to be nice or attend to her or like anything like that. But there's like fancy horse races, and Vronsky, his poor horse's back gets broken, and Anna, she's like really concerned about him. So her husband is like, that's suspicious that you were concerned about him. That's so suspicious. You're probably having an affair. You're definitely having an affair, aren't you? And then he's like, oh, but I'm probably mistaken. You're probably not actually having an affair. And do you know what she says? Okay, this is what she says. You are not mistaken. I was, and could not help being in despair. I listen to you when I think about him. I love him. I'm his mistress. I cannot stand you. I'm afraid of you. I hate you. And then, down the bottom, this is what she thinks. My husband. Ah, yes. Well, thank God it's all over with him. And then this other girl, right? You know how normally people would just say, like, oh, that girl's ugly, or that girl's this, or whatever? This is what she thinks. She was like a beautiful flower, which, while still full of petals, is scentless and no longer blooming. I am up to part 3. Okay, I have finished my section for tonight. I am this much through this book. There is 100% something going on between Kitty and Veronica. Convince me otherwise. You can't, because there is something going on between them. A romance is blossoming. Also, I've done some self-reflecting, and you know Count Vronsky? Well, I like him because I'm imagining him as Aaron Taylor Johnson. And yes, he has said some very nice things, but I think if I wasn't imagining him as Aaron Taylor Johnson, he's just not as good as I'm kind of deluding myself to believe. Like, we know from the start that he immediately likes her. There's not really any sort of tension, I mean, aside from the fact that it's an affair. And then in the sense that he does pursue a married woman. However, I really do want to watch this movie.
This is wrong. Makes no difference.
That movie was very different to the book, and as per expected, because I read the book first, I did not enjoy the movie. Now I'm watching Fatal Attraction. I think what you've missed is really Levin has just been mowing the meadow. Oh, and also something really dramatic. You know Alexei, so Anna's husband? He was briefly contemplating murdering Vronsky, but then he was like, wait, why would I murder a man just for a criminal wife? Also, this is why they can't get a divorce. I do not feel bad for Alexei anymore. I don't like Vronsky either. I like how everything is going up in flames with everyone else, and then Levin is just casually just farming, living his best farm life. There's a tedious yap fest happening right now. It's like that Peppa Pig thing. You never stop talking. Like, no offense, Levin, but let's get back to the other storylines now. I've read everything I needed to today, and I'm now up to part 4. I'm also halfway through the book, basically. This is the current time, but even though it's technically the 22nd, I'm still counting today as the 21st, and I'm going to do my Anna Karenina reading now. However, I have found an audiobook, and I think I'm going to listen to the audiobook while I do like my Clash of Clans things. I'll just have to like line up everything correctly, because if I don't, then it's going to be annoying. Honestly, when I don't imagine Vronsky as Aaron Taylor Johnson, he's really not all that. In fact, now he's just getting on my nerves. He's acting like he is this perfect civilian and he did nothing wrong by being a homewrecker, because in his mind, it's all justified. My problem with it all is that he is acting like this innocent little angel, and he's not. I've also been annotating quite a lot. Anna had a dream, and in this dream, she died, and she's like, I'm gonna die soon. That is literally me. I always feel like I'm gonna die. Like, I literally feel like I'm gonna die to see it. Basically, since I was a kid, I've always felt like I'm gonna die. Literally, last year, I was convinced I was gonna die of sepsis. It's very rational, but, like, also, I can't stop it. Like, it's just, like, kind of how I think. I get it. I get her. The amount of times I've had dreams of things, and I'm like, it's a premonition. It's a premonition. Also, did I tell you that Anna's pregnant? Yeah, she's pregnant. I hate Alexei. He's taking out his anger on the son. He's like, I don't like the son anymore because of you, but I'm still gonna keep him. Like, leave the son out of this. There's so much talk of politics now. I'm literally so close to getting that. I have lost my page. I don't know which part I'm up to with the audiobook. This is a disaster. I'm up to the part where Levin and Kitty, because, like, they're together now. I don't know. I thought that Levin was a creep, and I also thought that Kitty didn't like him at all. But what happened to Kitty and that girl? The part where Levin gives Kitty his diary for her to read, and then she reads it, and then she's just in tears because of his past, and she's like, because there's such like a gigantic age gap between them. Look at my nails in this lighting. There's such a big age gap between them, and like she's like pure and he's not, and so she's panicking, and so she's very upset about his past, and she's like, why would you give me your diary? Wait, what's going on? Anna's gonna die? She can't die. There's so much left of the book. I finally found the page, but like, what is that? She's dying? Doctor,
Excuse me? The premonitions were right. Oh dear. Update, Vronsky is literally losing his mind because she's dying. He just shot himself. Okay, so now Alexei is looking after Vronsky and Anna's kid, and he's like, I pity them. Okay. I'm actually so tired. Once I finish this, I'm immediately going to sleep. Okay, you guys, I finally reached my allocation. I have read this much, and I have this much left to go. I'm actually so tired. But right now, everyone is still alive. People are just sick. I'm so tired. Okay, so today I basically have to read 140 pages because yesterday I did not do it because I was so tired and I was like, I don't want to spend hours upon hours reading this book, so I'm doing it today. And it is currently, if you'll see that, it's like 6, it's almost 7 o'clock, which is fine. What I'm going to do is I'm going to work on my puzzle because I do quite like puzzles. I'm working on a new puzzle. It's like of this desert and there are pyramids and it's a camel in it. I got to get through 2 tabs today. Wish me luck. And it's not that I'm not enjoying the book because I am. I was really liking it. It's just when Levin is a yapper. He's almost as much of a yapper as me. And he and some other dude, they just kept talking about politics. And I'm just like, okay. Basically, it was just getting to be a lot. They were just ranting. And I was just like, okay, but what else, you know? Like, I can appreciate it and everything, but they're just other storylines that I prefer. And also, what's up with Kitty and Levin? What's up with that? It's about to storm. This is my setup. I have to put this here because someone was sitting in that. This is the book and this is my annotating supplies and that's what I'm going to use to listen on. This thing right here, you roll it up, right? Put all the cat hairs on this. My kind of love. Look at all the birds because it's storming and they're stressed out and they don't like the storm. There's so many of them. You can even see them like there. Also, we're up to part 5 so I can put in my little tab thing. So I was reading this book last night and I have some thoughts. Levin and Kitty got married. His terrible self-esteem was trying to cause him to self-sabotage this wedding and he was like to Kitty, see, I don't know why you would marry me. Why would someone like her marry someone like me? Okay, Levin, stand up. The next thing is that there was an entire kind of like section here where Vronsky was in his artist era. And he kind of had this rival with this art guy. I don't know. This art guy, what's his name? Like, his name was like Mick something. Mickey from Rocky. That guy was just being so rude for no reason. Right now, we are following Levin and Kitty's storyline. The last part I read was, only in the 3rd month of marriage, after their return from Moscow, where they had gone for a month, did their life become smoothest. They both tried equally in later life to cross out their recollections, all the ugly, shameful circumstances of that unhealthy time when they were rarely in a normal state. Were rarely themselves. I really like that. Where's my annotation things? So last night I was reading this book and I've gotten a little bit through it. This book explores many different themes, including suffering. We see suffering through Nikolai, Levin's brother. He is outrageously sick. He's covered in bed sores. He can't move. He's not doing too well and he's in so much pain. He does keep thinking he's gonna die. Every few seconds he'll be like, this is it, this is my time. I'm going. And then he'll, you know, hang on just for that little bit more. There's literally a point in the book where a priest, you know, he's doing his little priest thing because, you know, he's dying and he's like, he's gone. And then Nikolai's like, no, not quite. At the start of the chapter page, it's death when all the other chapters, they don't have any titles. Kitty is pregnant by Levin. There's someone called Lydia and she's in love with everyone. Like, she just falls in love with everyone. That used to be me. Anna and Alexei, they have a kid called Sorosa, right? Anna's like not allowed to say, I mean, technically she kind of chose Vronsky over here and Alexei like doesn't want them interacting or doesn't want any of that happening. But it's so sad because the kid, it was the day before his birthday, and at night he prayed that he would see his mum, and the next day, and it's like, okay, I'm gonna see my son. And it's such like a power move. She's not supposed to be in the manor, but like she has like this like veil thing on, and then when like, who are you, and then she lifts her veil and it's like, oh yes, come through. Also, Vronsky is getting on my nerves because he's not really hanging around Anna very much, and then he did not articulate things correctly because he was just like, no, you don't go out, I don't want you going out. But the reason why he didn't want her going out to like the play was because there are people in high society that have kind of, you know, they don't really like what she's done, and then she goes out and then there's like this entire scuffle, and that's why. But like Vronsky did not articulate that. He was just coming off as like kind of controlling, like, don't go out, you know. I also did make it to part 6. This is very nice girls group activity, and they made jam. And also last night, fun fact, well, not really fun fact, but I was driving and I was listening to Bob Marley, right? That was the only CD that was in my car. As I was driving, I see there was like this entire like police thing outside like a store. There's so many police cars. As I was driving, guess what Bob Marley song came on? Think of like possibly one of the worst Bob Marley songs to come on when there's all just police cars. I shot the sheriff started blaring out. The timing. Okay, you guys, I have currently been on hiatus for the past few days, and I have actually not been reading this book. It is currently the early hours of Tuesday, the 27th of February. I did to my nails. I want to get into like nail art, but I don't have any brushes, so I had to use toothpicks. These are my toothpick nails. These are supposed to be a cat. You can't even see that. It's very blurry. I will show you more up close. They're really not that good. And I also added sparkles, and I feel like they would have looked better without sparkles. But so this is what they look like. I need to put like a clear top coat over to them. This is what this hand looks like. I like this one. Those are supposed to be hearts. That's supposed to be spider webs. That is, I don't know what that is. I should hopefully see you again shortly. You know the snipe in Up? It's not mythical, it's real. Like, it's a real thing. Because in this book, they go hunting for the snipes. What I will say about this book is that I am just in love with the way so many scenes are written. The way winter was described, the way spring was described, the ice skating scene, the ball scene, the nature scenes when Levin is doing his gardening thing. Not gardening, what is he doing? His lawn mowing thing. His landscaping duties. Farming, his farming things. I just love the way the scenes are written, and I just think that is what's making me really enjoy the book. Also, I do like the storylines because it's just very different. There is cheating in this book. It's scandalous. So don't read this book and be like, she's a cheater! Vronsky is a homewrecker. Levin, the dude who has horrendous self-esteem and who tried to sabotage his own wedding because he was just very insecure and very anxious and just like, I am not deserving of this. Yeah, that's kind of relatable, to be honest. I can see myself doing that. Oh my god, Levin and I have the similar horrendous self-esteem. It says that it's a self-portrait of Tolstoy himself. Did no one check in on this man? Someone check in on this man. Well, I wish someone did check on him when he was alive. Sometimes my intentions are good, but most of the time, they're not. Most of the times, they are anything but profound. But I was like, Dress by Taylor Swift. It's so strange because when you die, whatever mark you left in the world is still going to be in the world and just sort of stays there. Also, I like the fact that there's lots of horses in this book. I'm also trying to calm myself down. I'm not going to distract myself with reading because what can I do about it? I'll have to check if I get my license suspended for going one over the speed limit. Everyone always carries on about, you know, how modern women like don't want to have like babies or whatever. Well, in here, the lady's regretting it. She is, and there's a peasant woman who was like, yeah, I was pregnant, and thankfully God relieved me of that or whatever. So, yeah. I was reading outside, and all I could hear was this commotion. I go back inside, and then I look outside. There's all these people in fancy dress at like 11 o'clock in the morning, and I'm reading Anna Karenina, where they wear like fancy dress. I've been attacked by mosquitoes.
I was gonna be a doctor.
Okay, so I had to give myself some reflecting time after I finished reading this book. So what you missed was that Anna threw herself under a train. Yeah, there was some religious talk, and then Levin and Kitty were sorting themselves out, and essentially, I finished this book. The bottom line is I'm extremely glad that I read it. Obviously, by all my annotations, there were some very beautiful quotes, beautiful scenes, just beautiful everything in this book, and I did thoroughly enjoy it. I don't really know what else to say except the fact that I really did enjoy it, despite the sometimes tedious political and religious talks in this book. Once I stopped imagining Vronsky as Aaron Taylor Johnson, the effects of him wore off a little. Obviously, they got together really quickly. There wasn't really too much of a slow burn, obviously, so if you don't like that, yeah, I'm just really glad that I read it. I will be rereading this book at another point in my life. I will do a wrap up at the end of the month, and then I will give you all my thoughts. Me saying that is I'm not about to film that today. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey of reading this book, and if you think that you would like it, then I highly recommend that you do read it. And this edition is very nice.